November 23rd will, of course, be a wonderful matchup at UFC Fight Night 248 between Piotr Jan and Davison Figueiredo. Now, of course, a lot is on the line, as the winner of this will most likely be next in line, or at least second in line, for the title shot. And, of course, a lot to lose, a lot to gain. If Jan loses, he will forever be stuck in Max Holloway purgatory, forever fighting contenders and never getting a title shot ever again. If Figueiredo loses, he goes on his merry way. I mean, I think he has a little less to lose, but he has a lot more to gain, as he has a chance of becoming a two-division world champion. Speaking of the champion, the former flyweight world champion, the God of War, Davison Figueiredo, he's 24-3 with 9 wins by way of knockout, 9 submission wins, and 6 decisions, with 1 draw. Only 3 losses, 1 by knockout, 1 by submission, and 1 by decision. Now, of course, 3 of his 4 blemishes on his record come by the same person. Of course, you know him, you love him, the Lego-loving Brandon Moreno. They fought a total of 4 times. Moreno got 2 wins, Figueiredo got 1, and 1 draw. Now, of course, the first fight was a draw. The second fight, he got stopped via submission. He later won the third fight via decision, then lost the last one via TKO doctor stoppage. Obviously, one hell of a fight. A lot of people, they obviously love it now. They're probably thinking, why the hell is there a 4th fight? Right? But besides that, the first fight he lost was against Jose Formiga via unanimous decision. So obviously, been quite a bit of time since he lost to someone not named Moreno. Not to mention, he's only lost 3 times. Yeah, being 36, having 27 fights, only losing 3. That's amazing, right? And of course, after moving up to bantamweight, he had 3-fight win streak. Of course, that being against Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt, and Marlon Chito Vera. He beat Font and Vera via unanimous decision, and Cody Garbrandt by submission. Now, of course, he is known for his power, even at bantamweight. Although he doesn't have that one-shot knockout anymore, or even had it at all, he has power. I'm pretty sure he is the first one to knock out Chito Vera. Obviously, a wonderful feat. People like to say, oh, it was because he was off balance, he was squared up. It doesn't matter. Figueiredo found the shot, and he knocked him down. That's who he is. He's a great striker with pop that can hurt you at basically any moment of the fight. Of course, he also has that submission threat in his utility belt, obviously being a well-rounded fighter. But of course, he has a tough test ahead of him, being the former bantamweight world champion, Peter Yan, and no mercy, 17-5. 7 wins by way of knockout, 1 submission, and 9 decision. Obviously not known for his power, but he is known for something else. But we'll talk about that later. 5 losses, 4 by decision, and 1 by other. His first loss came by Magomedov. He then later avenged that loss via unanimous decision. Wonderful. But of course, 2 of his losses came by Aljamain Sterling, and that's where the other comes from. Disqualification via illegal knee. Now, of course, people like to say Sterling was just an actor, he was faking it, but I'm just saying, if I got kneed in the head, I probably would do the same, right? But he had his chance to avenge that loss. He then lost by split decision in the rematch. Now, of course, Jan, still need a downed opponent. You can say whatever you want. Sterling abuses the whole downed opponent thing, whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't need someone when they're down, right? But we'll let it slide, I guess. But besides that, he only lost to 2 other people besides that, Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili. Now, of course, you see a pattern, right? So the first loss he avenged, so we'll just assume that, we'll just forget about that one, right? Every other fighter he lost to was a champion, they're all future champions, obviously. He lost to Sterling. Of course, since he lost to him, he lost his belt, and Sterling became the champion. He then lost to the champion Aljamain Sterling in the rematch. He then lost to Sean O'Malley, who then later went on to knock out Aljamain Sterling, winning the belt, becoming champion. He then lost to Merab, who, of course, he later went on to beat O'Malley and take the belt for himself. Now, of course, you could tell, literally 4 of his 5 losses have all come by champions. Same thing can be said for Figueiredo. 2 of his 3 losses have come by a champion, that being Moreno. But besides that, this is an excellent fight for people who are striking enthusiasts. Now, of course, that is mostly the UFC. Oh, boxing's so boring. Oh my God, they're striking in the UFC. So much action, I love it. Right, but besides that, Jan is known for his very complex, eye-catching striking. Of course, you've seen the footage, obviously. Probably the one going around the most is the one against Corey Sandhagen. Obviously, he is a striking aficionado, right? He has overall the better striking than Figueiredo, but Figueiredo, I feel like, is more precise than Jan. Jan is more of an output guy. Don't get me wrong, he's accurate as well. It's just, I think Figueiredo is just he's a little bit more precise. He gets those critical hits, is what I'm trying to say. He gets those critical hits. Jan gets those blunt hits, but Figueiredo gets those critical hits, which is very important because Figueiredo can hurt Jan at any moment of the fight. Maybe not to the point where he has, wobbly legs on Wobble Bobble Street or whatever, right? But it will be enough to maybe steal a couple rounds from Jan. But of course, Jan is the natural bantamweight, so that is something to look out for. And he has overall the better striking, and of course, he is 5 years younger than Figueiredo, so he does have that youthful energy probably still. But the thing is, Figueiredo has also filled in bantamweight nicely. He really hasn't looked old, like in bantamweight at least. Don't get me wrong, his output is definitely lower than Jan, which I do believe that's going to be a thing. Jan will most likely win more rounds due to his output, but Figueiredo might be able to steal a couple rounds, which is why I am leaning towards Jan. I am cheering for Figueiredo to win, but I do think Jan has a more, consistent or more stable way of winning the rounds, obviously through his output, and is a little bit more eye-catching shots. Figueiredo he's always game, right? Like they always say, he's always game. He has the power to really change the fight. He has the power to steal rounds, but unfortunately, Jan is a little too good for that. I'm not saying he's not going to get caught with something. It won't be enough to really take those rounds away from Jan. But of course, Figueiredo also has the submission threats, which means if Jan messes up, Figueiredo can take him down and maybe steal a round that way too, right? But Jan is known for his takedown defense, especially against Marab. Obviously, he was taken down in the fight, but at the same time, when you spam like damn near 100 takedowns, one's eventually going to land, right? And then once one lands, and all of them start landing, right? So obviously, Jan is a little bit shell-shocked from that fight, you could tell, right? But he has come back beating Yadong Song, obviously, by a decision. It was a very interesting fight. I'm not saying he struggled, but he was struggling, but he managed to really understand the patterns of Song, right? Which could happen against Figueiredo, but Figueiredo has that nice striking, the chances of critical hits. I know I'm talking like it's a video game, right? But Figueiredo's a little bit more precise, right? And those submissions. So it would be a little bit tough for Jan to really pull away from this fight. This is going to be a close fight. 3 rounds to 2 type of fight. Jan will most likely beat Figueiredo, which sucks because I'm going to be cheering for Figueiredo. But he'll most likely just outland Figueiredo and prevent Figueiredo from really taking him down, right? But you never know. Figueiredo is strong, right? Even for the weight class. He's small. You should see the Marlon Chito Vera fight. Obviously, you can tell that dude is small as hell compared to Chito Vera. But he managed to knock him down. He has power. He's strength. He has strength and power. That's always a good thing to have. But unfortunately, enough beating around the bush. Jan is most likely going to beat Figueiredo unanimous decision. Could he stop him? No, Figueiredo's a little too strong. Unless he breaks his orbital bone like Moreno did, he's not going to stop Figueiredo. But you never know. I mean, Figueiredo is 36. Maybe he starts aging like milk now, right? But I do think Figueiredo might have a little bit more fire in him. So that could play a factor. I'm not saying Jan is done. He's washed. But, you never know. They're both going to win. But I think Figueiredo will be a little bit more willing to throw caution to the wind. And maybe that will help him, right? But at the end of the day, Jan's going to win by decision. But what do you guys think? Who do you guys have? Peter Yan, the former bantamweight world champion, or Deiveson Figueiredo, the God of War, the former flyweight world champion? But besides that, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your opinions down below. I love to hear them. But anyways, I'll catch you in the next one.